on the case that you represent Ms. Cummings on, Mr. Fagan, D20-02595FY. It's a resisting and obstructing a police officer. And go ahead from there, Mr. Tarango. Tell me what the discussion's been.
Thank you, Your Honor. So Mr. Fagan and I talked about it, and so the charge that he is representing Ms. Cummings on is just the RNO. What I've offered, though, is that if she pleads to an attempt RNO with no supplements, and she also pleads guilty to the domestic violence, I would recommend credit for time served on the attempt RNO, and then let the court decide if there's anything else that needs to be done with the domestic violence. But
Okay.
As you stated, Mr. Abuxia represents her on the domestic violence, which I believe he just showed up to our Zoom meeting.
Right. Okay. That's fine. Mr. Abuxia, I don't know how much you're catching on this. I don't know when you zoomed in because I wasn't watching as clearly as I could have, but we've got Samantha Cummings represented by attorney Dan Fagans on a felony. They're considering to do a plea to an attempt RNO, a 1 year, no subs, and recommend credit for time served if she also pled to the DV, which is the misdemeanor case that you have with her mother as the alleged victim.
Yeah, I caught that end part of it. And my apologies, Your Honor. This actually wasn't in my calendar because the notices all went out for Judge O'Hara.
Oh, I see.
And then Kurt.
No apology needed.
So I can speak with her. It sounds like she's in the waiting room.
Yeah, she's in our Zoom meeting right now from the jail. So why don't I put you in a meeting room with her? And Ms. Cummings, you can tell Mr. Abuxia what you had talked with me about, because I was trying to, wait till he came on board, but you can tell him that. So just give me 1 second. Mr. Fagan?
Yes, before we let her go, I just want to confirm, Samantha, we spoke yesterday, I think, at the county or Monday. And what's been offered is kind of what I hoped would be, which is a reduction to a misdemeanor and an agreement for credit time served. Given the discussion you and I had, I would recommend that if you want to, you could do that.
That's kind of what I'm trying to say. I don't need to talk to him separately right now. I'm okay to agree to that. And
Okay.
I guess
But I didn't know whether you might want to talk to Mr. Abuxia separately, or if you're just good to go.
No, I'm good to go. I mean, there isn't really much more to say or do. It's going to be your decision as far as if I'm, time served or, fine, whatever.
Well, I'd go along with the recommendation of credit for time served on the felony. I don't know much about the misdemeanor right now, except for what little you said when I was trying to tell you to not talk about it too much with a pushing, shoving with your mom. But, and I know that Mr. Tarango, I believe, perhaps, has talked with your mom or somebody from Victim Witness, and I don't have any of that detail. So, I might wait on finding a little bit more about that, or we can just talk about it right now once you decide how you want to go. I don't want to prevent you from talking to Mr. Abuxia if you want any private time with him.
No, but I just want to take the plea on both of those and get the sentence done.
All right, I appreciate that. And Mr. Abuxia, are you okay with that?
As you know, Your Honor, it's how my client wishes to proceed, and if she thinks that this is in her best interest and the best offer that she's going to get, then I would say that she's free to make that decision.
Okay.
Noting that I am here to talk with her if she would like to do that.
Right, okay, and that's clear. Okay, so then let me just, and I'll get to you in a second, Mr. Tarango, if I can, but I'd like to just explain the rules to you, Ms. Cummings, because they're both misdemeanors now. I mean, the attempted RNO is a misdemeanor, up to 1 year in jail, up to $1,000 fine. The domestic violence is up to 93 days in jail, up to $500 fine. They've made a recommendation of credit for time served on the felony case that's reduced to a misdemeanor. But your rights are the same on both cases. Your rights to plead guilty or not guilty, your rights to have a trial in front of a judge or a jury, your rights to have an attorney represent you. You have an attorney on both cases, Mr. Abuxia on the misdemeanor, Mr. Fagan, on the felony that's reduced to the attempted R&O. You know that you have a right to have witnesses come in, testify. You could testify yourself if you wanted or remain silent. You have the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. If you do go forward today, Ms. Cummings, the decision has to be yours, not anybody else's, not even your mom's, not mine, not your attorney's. It has to come from you. These dates are June 6th with the incident with your mom this year, and then October 7, the incident with the officer. When you're thinking about what to do, the decision ultimately has to be yours. Are you on probation or parole anywhere?
No, ma'am. No, I haven't been in trouble in quite a while.
Okay, that's good. And do you understand that if there was anything you wanted to appeal, you'd have 21 days from the date of sentencing to appeal a case to the higher court? You get that?
Yes, yes.
So like if there was something you didn't understand or didn't agree with, or you thought I did something wrong, you do have the right to appeal, but it's within 3 weeks after being sentenced. So let's
Yes,
just
ma'am.
talk a minute, going back all the way 4 months ago plus, June 6th, the incident with your mom. As to that domestic violence case, how do you want to plead?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Okay, and then as to the charge, I'll just stick to the June 6th incident with your mom. Is the Algoma Avenue an address you're familiar with? Where did the incident with your mom happen?
We were in her vehicle and she had me get out of her vehicle while we were on Algoma Avenue, which is.
Was it just the two of you when you got into this verbal dispute?
Yes, ma'am.
You're in a car, she's driving, you're a passenger?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't need to get into the details of what the disturbance was about, but you're upset, she's upset, you're both upset, it's an argument. It starts to heighten to the level where she pulls over and says, get out of the car. Maybe not that kindly, but says, get out.
Yes.
What occurs that causes you to say there was some physical shoving, pushing, whatever you were talking about?
Well, I have, mental health issues, and I was upset and I wanted to listen to the radio, and this is while she was driving. So I turned the music on. I was just trying to listen to the radio and, calm down. Because I had talked to a friend at Meyer at the store we were at previously. Like, we went to the store, and then we were on our way to her house, on our way home. And she kept turning the radio off, and I kept turning it on. And so that's how that started. And we started, like...
Okay, then tell me as it relates to, is it your mom's car?
Yes.
And she's driving back from Meyer with you?
Yes.
Okay, once she pulls over and says, that's it, get the hell out of the car, or whatever she says.
I got out. I had coffee spilled all on me, but I got out and I walked.
So does the coffee get spilled in this shoving match about the radio?
Both. While we were pushing each other's hands away, the coffee spilled and then she threw the rest of it on me. Thankfully, it wasn't that hot. But the point is,
whose coffee was it?
It was hers. She had bought it.
So when you're grabbing at your mom's hands and whatnot, the coffee spills originally, but this is all part of this shoving stuff. Now, in all due respect, even though you have mental health issues, and we probably all do to some extent, my question to you is, you don't really have any right
No.
to turn her radio on or off without her in the car telling you. I mean, you could have avoided this whole thing.
I know. That's why I'm pleading guilty, because...
All right, so you realize that by your own actions, physically reaching out, it was wrong.
Exactly. Yes, ma'am.
And that's why you're pleading guilty.
Yes.
But we didn't have any knockdown, drag-out, physical fist fight.
Oh, no.
Okay.
No.
Then, Mr. Tarango, can you help explain, if it's appropriate at this time, what information you've learned from reaching out to the alleged victim in this case?
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, we did reach out through Brianna Krebs, our victim's advocate, to Ms. Knapp. The details of the story are a little bit different, but the essence is the same. They were, according to the victim in this case, did see somebody that she knew admire. When she got back in the car, she was in a bad mood. She did keep radio stations on the radio. However, the victim claims that when she turned off the radio, Ms. Cummins started punching her, at which point she slammed on the brakes. That's where the coffee spilled. And so that pretty much is online with what Ms. Cummins is saying. She has also stated that Ms. Cummins does have some mental health issues, partly because of potential drug use. And she's quite frankly, this is not the first time that Ms. Cummins has been assaulted with her. And she wants to get the message across that punching her and hitting her and putting her hands on her is not the appropriate thing to do. And that
Okay,
she wanted to move forward with.
yep, that helps. Ms. Cummings, were you living with your mom at the time this happened in Sand Lake?
Well, I was kind of living in my car near her house.
Okay, so
I-
technically not living with your mom, but sometimes you'd go over there to shower?
Yes,
So your mom was helping you in some ways, fair enough?
oh, yes, yes, ma'am.
Is the mom's address the 136th in Sand Lake?
Yes, ma'am.
When you get out of jail, where will you physically live? Are you living out of your car? Will you have a place to go?
No, I don't have a vehicle anymore. Well, I mean, I probably would go back to Mel Trotter's. That's like, I've been staying at Mel Trotter's or Degage's because
Uh-huh,
I'm on a lot of waiting lists to get in for housing. Like, I've been approved for housing assistance, but it's like a waiting game for a free opening. But I finally am getting some sort of, income, Social Security. I just started getting that, but it's, obviously that's not much.
okay, that helps me. I'd like to move forward to the case that they're talking about was a couple of weeks ago, October 7. This incident with now called an amended charge that Mr. Fagan is representing you on, file D20 02595FY, called attempted resisting and obstructing a police officer. Attempted resisting and obstructing, as I said, is up to 1 year in jail, up to $1,000 fine. You have all the same rights that we talked about before, because I did them duplicate. And if you go forward, there's no trial, there's no witnesses, and you give up your right to be presumed innocent. You still would have the right to appeal anything 3 weeks after being sentenced. As to that incident, near Post Drive in a street called Samrick, Plainfield Township, on October 7, just about 2 weeks ago, how do you want to plead to the lower charge, the misdemeanor, called attempted resisting and obstructing?
Guilty.
And then when you're pleading guilty to that offense, can you explain what occurred? What do you remember from it? Did you have police contact?
Yes, yes.
How did that happen? What do you remember first about having any police contact? Are you on foot? Are you in a car? Are you at a store?
No, I was in a vehicle, and
By yourself or with others?
No, it was by myself. I seen a vehicle on the side of the road, and it looked like could have been my mom's. So I opened, I went in.
So you got in a car that you thought might be your mom's. Turns out it wasn't.
It wasn't, and then I was going to get out of the vehicle, and that's when the cops pulled up, and they.
Okay,
thought I
so
was
is it
doing
possible that people saw you get in the car or saw you there and wondered what's going on? We're calling the police?
something. Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, it's not like the police just showed up.
Yeah, I don't know why they showed up or
So
what.
are you
but-
sleeping in the back of the car or what are you doing?
No, I just wanted to see if that was my mom's vehicle, and
How long do you think you were in the car?
I don't know, maybe 5 minutes.
Okay. And are you in the front seat or the back seat?
The front.
And when the police car comes, are they in a police car?
Yeah.
You see them, you're starting to get out of the car.
Yeah, I was going to get out of the car, and when I turned, then I seen the cop, and because he startled me, I was
Okay.
like, "Whoa!"
So
And
when the
then-
police officer starts talking to you to try to find out what's going on, I'm guessing the police were called, but I don't know that. I'm sure the police got a call from somebody in the neighborhood saying, this is weird.
He
So the police go and investigate it like is part of their job. When they talk to you, what happens?
He automatically told me, he asked for my name. I gave him my name. He told me I was being detained. He put me in handcuffs. And he told me that I had a warrant. He said that I had a warrant for missing court. And I knew for a fact that I didn't. I said, no, I don't. I said, no, I don't have a warrant. I haven't missed court. And, you know,
Miss
So,
Cummings,
but
I'm not trying to
basically-
be buggy in any way, but try to get to the part, when you say to me, I'm guilty of attempted resisting and obstructing, what was the stuff that happened that you now realize I shouldn't have done this?
well, I guess after they put me in cuffs, I don't know why I stood up. I think because I was between the two vehicles and I was on the ground, so I stood up. Like, I don't know why I did that. Like, I was standing up to walk somewhere else, and they thought that I was trying to run or something, probably, but I wasn't.
Right?
And,
Was that part of what they thought you were resisting them when they
I
said,
don't
don't
know.
move or something like
I
that?
don't understand. They don't explain to me what they didn't explain to
Right.
me, like, what part was resisting and what part, you know what I mean, what, so I don't know.
Right? When you go through some of your episodes of bipolar reactions, do you think of it, I say like good day, bad day? Is it kind of like some days you have a good day and some days you have a bad day?
No, it's like that with my schizophrenia more than anything.
Okay, more the schizophrenia. The police
Yeah.
report says when the deputies were there, they said you were trying to pull away from them. You were yelling at them. They were able to get you secured in the cruiser.
Yes.
Do you remember most of the pulling, pushing was outside the vehicle? Or do you try to break a window when you're inside? What happens?
No, nothing. I just sat there when I was inside.
Okay.
Your Honor, could I ask a question, please?
Go ahead, Mr. Fagan.
Thank you. I'm reading the police report, and we've discussed this matter. Would it be safe to say that when the police were talking with you, at least at some point, you tried to pull away from them and
Yeah.
yelled at them?
Well,
Yes or no? Okay,
yes.
that's all. Thank you, Your Honor, nothing else.
Yes.
Well, that's really what we're talking about, Ms. Cummings, that at some point, and there may have been some, frustration on your part, especially if you didn't think there was a warrant for you, but the police are there checking out this kind of a bizarre situation of you in a car that's not yours. They get a call from some lady in the neighborhood who sees you and thinks something's not quite right. That's not unusual for people to call in. And then when the police are trying to put you in handcuffs and you're still frustrated about why is this happening, they're saying you were pulling away from them, yelling and arguing a bit. That is true, is it not?
Yeah. Yes.
And that's why you're pleading guilty to this attempted resisting and obstructing, true?
Yes, I remember I was trying to pull away because they were trying to take my purse. Because the last time I went to jail in Newaygo County, my purse was sitting right there. I said, officer, will you please grab my purse so that then I had my money with me? Oh no, purposely didn't. Like so I didn't want them to take my purse away.
That would be frustrating, I'm sure.
Without it coming with me, but
Right.
you say that isn't okay, but that's why I was. But then,
Okay.
yeah, that's why I'm
All
pleading
right.
guilty.
Let's do this then. I'll go forward with sentencing on both of these cases right now. Because I think what we need to do is get you into a program that's going to be helpful, be it at Beltrotters or wherever, because you're going to need some help. And it's not going to be your mom that's going to be able to help you right now. In fact, I'm going to ask you not to have contact with your mom until we sort this out and figure out what's going on. But let's start, Mr. Abuxia, if there's anything you can think of that you want to say on the domestic violence case.
Yes, Your Honor. I'd just like to say that obviously Ms. Cummings is here taking full responsibility for her actions. The limited interaction I've obviously had with her, I can tell that she's being forthcoming, and she wants to get this behind her so that she can move on to getting the help that she needs. It sounds like she does have at least a place that she knows she's going to return to once she's released. And so I would ask to follow the recommendation for credit for time served, at least on the R&O. With respects to the domestic violence, I would ask for credit for time served for any time that she's spent in jail to be applied to that charge. It also sounds like Ms. Cummings also will follow the no contact order for right now until it can be sorted out whether or not mom wants to have that contact. And so I would just ask for no further jail leniency on the fines as we are trying to get on our feet. Wish Ms. Cummings the best of luck in getting the treatment that she needs. Hopefully one of those beds can open up for her.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Abuxia. Mr. Fagan, is there anything you can think of that you want to say?
Thank you. I comments of Mr. Abuxia, and I marvel at his capacity to make such a wise and appropriate recommendation given his very high P number. But yes,
Right.
it seems appropriate, Your Honor. It looks like my client's taking this seriously, and I wish
Okay.
the court does something the court is good at, which is help her find something where she can get the help she needs. Thank you.
Right. Well, it's going to be, thank you, Mr. Fagan. It's going to be your probation officer that's going to have connection with you, Ms. Cummings, because, I mean, let's just be real. You need help. You need some help. You have a limited support system. You're going to get out of jail today. Does that mean next week I see you again? Or next month if you get picked up? Because that's what's going to happen. I don't want you using alcohol. I don't want you using any drugs. I want you to try to stay clean. I don't know if Mel Trotter's going to have space for you, whether they're going to say, yeah, come on in, whether they have some programs that might be helpful. But you've got to be sick and tired of being sick and tired. And you're old enough where you've got to get on with your life in a positive way. Go ahead.
How much probation are you talking about?
How much what?
How much, you're talking about putting me on probation?
Yeah, you're going to be on probation, not jail. But the probation is for us to monitor, because I want you to get into a treatment program that's going to help you with your mental health issues, with any potential substance abuse issues. It can't be easy to pop around living in somebody's car, or go to somebody's house, or living on this couch, or not having some stability. You're getting closer, like you said, to getting some housing, but it's not there yet. A lot's going to change once you get yourself more stabilized, and that's all we want to help you do.
Okay.
But when you have these, I call them good day, bad day, good day, bad day. On a bad day, next thing you know, you're taken into custody for something. We don't want that.
Right.
I'm not asking you to be perfect, because none of us are perfect. But I'm asking you to be law-abiding. So what's going to happen on the domestic violence case, and I'm only saying until we talk to your mom. If your mom is good to going back to the way things were, and you could get over there for showers and she could help you, I got no beef with that. But I'm not going to say it until I hear from her.
Okay.
So right now I tell you, don't have contact with her until we hear that.
Okay.
I don't give you any jail on your mom's case with the domestic violence. And it's really not your mom's case, it's you.
Yeah.
But it's a dispute you had with your mom that ended up with you being charged.
Right.
93 days held over your head, credit for already what you've done. How long have you been in custody? Since October 7?
Yes, 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah. So you get credit for 2 weeks on both of these cases, really, because the time works at the same. The domestic violence is $300, $75 crime victims' right fee, 6 months of probation, $90 fee for probation. I really just want to focus on what kind of mental health counseling you can get, maybe some programs that can help you with your housing.
Okay,
I'm going to reduce that $300 fine to $100, and then there's a $200 court-appointed attorney fee. The total on that is $465. Now, on the attempted R&O, it's a 1-year jail sentence, but you don't serve it. Credit for time served, the rest of it held over your head. I made that a $300 fine, $75 crime victims' right fee. And I made this 1 year of probation. It's not a year and 6 months, it's 6 months overlapping with the year. $555, again, I want mental health counseling. I want to see if the probation department can hook you up with some resource programs like Meltrotters or any programs that are going to be able to help you get some guidance to get stable. Can you think of any other questions, Ms. Cummings?
yeah, sorry. Back in June, when I first got arrested for the domestic violence,
Yep,
at one point, I paid bond on it, and it was a cash
Yep.
bond.
it was,
Doesn't that money go to my fine?
yes, it does. And was that 500?
I think it was 500, yes.
I think it was 500 too, and they'll use that bond on both cases.
250 and
They'll wipe out the
250.
domestic violence and they'll put the balance over to the other one. I'm
Okay.
not so panicked about you paying the money because I know you won't have income right away and I know you're getting your disability at some point. But work a plan that's going to work with you and the probation officer for whatever the balance is. But yes,
Oh.
we'll apply the bond.
So then I will be able to leave today, and then I just have to go report to the probation department today or tomorrow?
It's a really good question that you ask, and I would say that because we're living in this COVID time, the probation department's going to be in contact with you, but the only address we have is your mom's address, and you can't have contact with your mom. So once you're out of the jail, and you start to go to Meltrotter or wherever you are, you call our court. You don't physically have to come out here. You have to call our court, and then you get set up with a meeting with your probation officer.
Okay.
And
Sounds
yes,
good.
the answer is you will get out today, assuming there's nothing else holding you, and you said there's not.
No, there isn't.
Good.
Okay, thank you,
And I'm
ma'am.
not being funny, but we don't want to see you in jail again. It'd be
no
nice
offense.
if this could be the end of it.
Yes, it would be.
Okay, well, it's on you to just get yourself, not perfect, just stable and law-abiding. Good day,
Okay,
bad day,
yes,
we
ma'am.
all have them. I'm a judge, I have a good day, I have a bad day.
Yep.
You just gotta work at that stability level, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right,
Thank
yep,
you,
thank
Honor.
you. Mr. Abuxia, thank you very much. Mr. Fagan, thank you for your help, and Mr. Tarango, thank you.
Thank you all.